out there. This is Wake Angel 2001, and I'm bringing you a commission for AC Reinhardt, Antoine de Coulette. Although I hear that since the name is French, it would technically be pronounced Antoine de Couillet. I'm not really sure. I don't think they ever said his name out loud over the course of the cartoon. We only know his last name from the comic book where it's only ever been written. So, yeah. Alright, so let's get to actually making the toy. It's been a while since I did an Antoine, so I think we'll do a proper making of video. Although you don't need to get the backstory, because that was in my first Antoine video. But anyway, toy. Here is the recipe. It is a modified tails head. You see I already cut the ears into shape and removed the cheek tufts so I could sculpt Antoine's on over them. And aside from that, it's still mostly tails, but with Silver's legs, and with the tails removed. So, what would you call it without the tails? I don't know. So I just sculpted Antoine's short little coyote tail in its place, and then gave it the paint job. He has a little belt buckle, which is from Sonic's shoe, and he of course has shirt tails. As usual, the shirt tails are simply made out of paper, although they are made very stiff because of the Testor's paint that I put on them. Once that paint hardens, this feels very much like plastic. Although, you don't want to go crumbling it or trying to get it wet because, it is still paper underneath and the paint can only do so much for stiffening. Silver's boots are the right height, but the shape of the toe is a little small, so I sculpted onto it with a little bit of the Super Sculpey to make it look more like those big-toed boots that Antoine wears, and then give it a simple paint job with his light brown fur and, red footwear. The arms don't require any modifications besides paint, so yeah, that's that. I did provide him with a sword. It's just a cocktail toothpick, though I did paint the blade silver and put some brown on the guard. Okay, so that just leaves his head. I'm deciding to do finales with heads because it's usually the most heavily modified piece. We have sculpted on hair, different cheeks, and of course the long coyote snout, because he's French and always looking down his nose. Although it is less curved than the original cartoon version, I guess because they decided to make it a little bit less of a comedic exaggeration once his character got a little more serious. And then, it's Antoine's head. So let's see the figure complete. And there is Antoine. Like all my other Antoines before, he doesn't have the shoulder pads on his shirt. This is because the way the arms go and the shape of those pads, it just really wouldn't work. I would sacrifice outward articulation because they would clip into his cheek tufts. If they were different kinds of shoulder pads, like what Metal Sonic has, then I could probably still make them work, but the way they are, I just wouldn't, they just wouldn't look right. But still, he can hold his little sword. You just gotta wedge his little hand in there. Tails' hand actually makes a pretty decent holding hand. And he is Antoine with his little sword. Coming soon, the rest of the Freedom Fighters.